Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Morning Mobility with NATEFIT, where we focus on helping you build a movement habit. Today, we're going to focus on hips and spine. So we're going to start off in our hip car position, getting our hips warmed up, starting with hands clasped together. We're going to pull our knee towards our chest, opening up and pointing that knee to the ceiling, internally rotating, pressing that knee back into extension, dropping it down to midline and knees together. And then we'll reverse, pressing back into extension, pointing the knee to the ceiling, externally rotating, pulling the knee to the shoulder, return to midline, knees together. And again, we're going to do 3 reps, pulling the knee to the chest, opening up, internally rotating, pressing back into extension, return to midline, knees together, and reverse, extension, abduction, external rotation, flexion, adduction, knees together, and one more time, flexion, abduction, internal rotation, extension, adduction, knees together, and reverse, extension, abduction, external rotation, flexion, adduction, knees together. We'll flip over to the other side. Hands clasped together, starting off by pulling that knee to the chest, opening up into abduction, internally rotating, pressing back into extension, return to midline, knees together, and reverse, extension, abduction, external rotation, flexion, adduction, knees together, flexion, abduction, point that knee right to the ceiling, nice and slow. We're going to internally rotate now, rotating that ankle behind the knee, pressing that knee back into extension, return to midline, knees together, and reverse with extension, abduction, external rotation, flexion, return to midline, knees together, and one more time here, flexion, abduction, internal rotation, extension, adduction, knees together, and then reverse, squeezing that glute, pointing that knee to the ceiling, externally rotating, pulling the knee to the shoulder, return to midline, knees together. Next, we're going to go to our thoracic spine cars. So, kneeling position. You can sit on a chair. You can put some yoga blocks underneath your hips if this is hard on the ankles. We're going to put our hands on our shoulders, starting off by pulling our rib cage down into flexion, rotating, turning the shoulders to the side, and dropping your shoulder down to your side, extending up, rotating the other direction, dropping that elbow down to the side, and coming back around in front. We'll do 3 in each direction. Starting again, pulling that rib cage down, rotating, laterally flexing, extending up, rotating the other direction, dropping the elbow down to the hip, and coming back around in front, back to neutral. And one more time in this direction, flexion, rotation, lateral flexion, extension, rotating the other direction, dropping down to midline, to the side, and rotating back to midline, back to neutral. We'll go 3 in the other direction now. Dropping the rib cage down, rotating, laterally flexing, extending up, rotating the opposite direction, dropping that elbow down to the hip, and back around in front, back to neutral, and again, flexion, rotation, lateral flexion, extension, rotation, lateral flexion, and back around in front. One more time here. Flexion, rotation, turning those shoulders to the side, dropping that shoulder down, extending up, rotating the other direction, dropping the elbow down, and coming back around in front. Next, we're going to go to our cow spine segmentation. Hands directly below the shoulder, beneath the shoulders, knees directly beneath the hips. Going to go into extension first and then flexion. So we're going to start off by rotating our hips down towards the ground, creating extension in our lumbar spine, pressing that belly down, slowly working our way up the spine, pressing the rib cage down, pulling the head up, pulling the chin up, pause, and reverse, tucking the chin, tucking the head, pushing away from the ground, coming up through the upper back, pulling that rib cage in, pulling the belly in, and tucking our tail between our legs, and then reverse, rotating those hips towards the ground, pressing that belly into the ground, pressing the ribs into the ground, pulling your head up, pulling the chin up, looking as high as you can, and reverse, tucking the chin, tucking the head, pressing away from the ground, pulling that rib cage in, pulling the belly in, and tucking your tail between your legs. And we'll reverse. Get as much out of those hips as possible. Rotate them down towards the ground. Keep going with the hips. Now the belly, then the rib, pulling the head up, looking up as high as we can, and reverse, tucking the chin, tucking the head, pushing away from the ground, pulling those ribs in, pulling the belly in, and tucking your tail between your legs. Excellent. Next, we're going to go back onto our side, and we're going to do hip abductions from a side lying position. So we'll clasp our hands together again. We're going to bend the knee at 90 degrees, push the knee back. We're going to keep this straight line with our torso and our femur. And all we're going to do is lift the leg straight up, trying to point that knee to the ceiling, and back down. That's one. This is primarily working the glute med. Coming back up. Two. Back down slow, again controlling the whole movement. Back up. That's three. Down. Again, coming back up. That's four. And down. And last one, coming up. High as you can. And back down. Good. We'll flip over to the other side. So our side lying position, hands clasped together. Again, really trying to keep that knee back. We don't want it to come forward as we come up. Okay, here we go. Knee back, coming straight up. One, and back down. And again, coming up. Point the knee to the ceiling, and back down. That's two. Again, coming up. Point the knee to the ceiling. Back down, that's three. Again, up. That's four. Feel that pinch in that tissue there. And back up. And down. That's five. Next, we're going to go to thoracic extension. So we're going to go into this lying position. Push-up position, hands on the ground. We're going to try to keep those hips on the ground. We're going to press and come up, looking up as high as we can, stretching that anterior chain. Here we go. Deep breath in. Coming up, looking up. Pause. And back down. We'll do 5 reps. Again, deep breath in. Coming up. and back down. That's 2. Again, coming up. Down. That's 3. Again, deep breath in. Coming up. That's 4. One more time, coming up. And 5. Excellent. Next, we're going to go to rotation. So focused on external rotation from our 90-90 position. Hands behind our back. Turning towards that back leg. And we're going to lift this knee up off the ground. You're going to feel a pinch in your hip. And coming back down. Again, the whole movement is controlled, so we're pressing back down. Coming up, high as you can. Pause. And back down, that's 2. Coming up. Try to get further every time. And down, that's 3. Pause. Down. Again. Pause. And down. And we'll flip over to the other side. So again, when you're lining this up, 90 degrees in the front leg, 90 degrees in the back leg. Turn those shoulders towards that back leg. Coming up. Pause. Back down. That's 1. Up. Pause. Down. That's 2. Up. Pause. Down. That's 3. 2 more. Up. Pause. Down. That's 4. And 1 more. Coming up. Pause. And down. That's 5. Okay, now that we've worked on that tissue in our hip, we're going to go right back to our hip carve position. We're going to do 2 on each side here. So starting off nice and slow, feel that new range. Pulling our knee towards our chest. Opening up into abduction. Get that new range. Internally rotating now. Pressing back into extension. Dropping down to midline. Knees together. And reverse. Extension. Abduction. Fight for that range. External rotation. Flexion. Adduction. Knees together. 1 more time on this side. Knee to the chest. Opening up. Rotating that ankle behind the knee. Pressing back into extension. Return to midline. Knees together. And reverse. Extension. Abduction. External rotation. Flexion. Adduction. Knees together. And we'll flip over to the other side. Hands clasped together. Starting off by going into flexion, pulling the knee to the chest. Opening up into abduction. Internally rotating. Pressing that knee back. Return to midline. Knees together. And reverse with extension. Abduction. External rotation. Flexion. Adduction. Knees together. And last one to finish off. Knee to the chest. Point the knee to the ceiling. Internally rotating. Pressing that knee back. Return to midline. Knees together. And reverse. Extension. Abduction. External rotation. Flexion. Adduction. Knees together. Excellent. And that is another episode of Morning Mobility with NATEFIT. Thank you for joining. Thank you for making your health a priority. And I will see you tomorrow morning.